I'm Jake, and any question I had about where I stood with my folks vanished the day I stumbled across their will. It wasn't even one of those dramatic family meetings where they'd break the news. Nope, I found out completely by accident, just plain dumb luck. This happened a couple of months back when I was at their place, the same house I'd been helping them pay for the last 5 years. I'm talking mortgage payments, occasional grocery runs, even fixing stuff around the house. I was the one holding it all together, while my brother, Eric, did squat. And I mean squat. No job, no responsibilities, just kicking back waiting for life to hand him everything on a silver platter, which my parents were more than happy to do, apparently. That day, I was helping my dad with some paperwork, cause, like always, they couldn't be bothered to figure it out themselves. He asked me to skin some papers for him, a bunch of legal and money stuff, and I didn't think twice about it until I saw it. A folder right there in the stack labeled estate plan and last will and testament. Now, I don't usually snoop, but I couldn't help being curious. I mean, I'd been making sure they had a roof over their heads, you know? It wasn't out of line to wonder how they were planning for the future. So I opened it, and that's when I saw the words that hit me like a ton of bricks. Everything, and I mean everything, was going to Eric. The house, their savings, all their assets. Not a single mention of me, except for some kin line about loving both their sons equally. Yeah, right. Equally. That's why they were making sure their golden child inherited everything, while the son, who was actually keeping them afloat, didn't even get a mention. I felt like a complete idiot. Here I was, breaking my back for them, making sure their bills were paid on time, making sure they didn't have to worry about groceries, while they were sitting back, planning a future where I got nothing. And Eric? He wasn't just lazy, he was entitled. He never lifted a finger to help them, never gave them a dime, but he had somehow managed to convince them he deserved it all. Maybe because he was the baby of the family. Maybe because they just always babied him. Maybe because he knew how to work them. Whatever the reason, they'd made their choice. I sat there staring at that paper, my hand shaking with a mix of anger and feeling betrayed. How long had they been planning this? Had they always wanted me to just be their free financial safety net with nothing in return? Did they even appreciate what I was doing for them? I don't know how long I sat there, but eventually my dad noticed I wasn't scanning anything. "Hey, Jake, what's taking so long?" he asked, walking back into the room. I didn't even try to hide the will. I just held it up and looked him dead in the eye. "So this is how it is?" I said, and my voice was weirdly calm. "Everything to Eric. After all I've done for you guys?" My dad's face went white for a second, but then he just sighed, like I was throwing a fit. "Jake, it's not what you think." "Really?" I shot back, "'cause it looks pretty clear as day to me. I've been paying your mortgage, helping with the groceries, fixing up the house while Eric does absolutely nothing, and you still decided he's the only one who matters?" Dad looked real uncomfortable, but instead of actually explaining anything, he just mumbled, "It's complicated." That was it. No apology. No attempt to make it sound even halfway reasonable. Just a lame excuse and a look like he was waiting for me to shut up and go back to being their personal ATM. I should have walked out right then and there, but I needed to hear it from both of them. So I called out for my mom. When she came in and saw the will in my hands, her reaction wasn't any better. She at least looked guilty, but the words that came out of her mouth just made me see red. "Jake, honey, you don't need the inheritance," she said real gently, like she was doing me a favor. "You have a good job. You are independent. Eric, well, he struggles. We just want to make sure he's taken care of." That's when something inside me just snapped. They weren't even trying to deny it. They knew exactly what they were doing, and in their heads, it was totally okay. They had spent years letting Eric be lazy, And now they were gonna reward him by handing him everything, while I got thrown out like trash. I took a deep breath, clenched my jaw tight, and put the will down on the table. Got it, I said, trying to stay calm, glad to know where we stand. Then I turned and walked right out of the house, ignoring them yelling after me as I slammed the door. They had made their choice. Now it was time for me to make mine. I didn't go back to their house after that. I didn't call. I didn't check in. For the first time in years, I let them deal with their own stinking problems. If something needed to be fixed, they could figure it out. If they needed groceries, they could go to the store themselves. And the most important thing? That mortgage bill came. Well, I wasn't paying it anymore. The silence lasted about 2 weeks. At first, I think they thought I was just throwing a temper tantrum and would come running back like always. Maybe they thought I'd cool off and say sorry for daring to question them. But when the days kept passing with no word from me, and, more importantly, no money coming in, you could almost feel the air change. Then, one afternoon, my phone buzzed. Dad texted, "Property taxes are due." That was it. Not, "Hey, how's it going?" Not, "Sorry about what happened." Not, "We appreciate everything you've done." Just a cold text as if I was still the bank. I stared at the screen, almost laughing at how predictable they were. They really thought they could just ask for money like nothing was different. That I'd keep playing my part as their financial sugar daddy, even after they showed me I was replaceable? I calmly typed back, "I'm sure Eric will handle it, since the house is his and all." It took exactly 5 minutes before my mom called. I let it ring. Then another text popped up. Mom texted, "Jake, please don't be like this. We need to talk." Oh, now they wanted to talk. Now that their bills were piling up and reality was finally hitting them in the face. I waited an hour before saying anything. "There's nothing to talk about. You made your choice. Now deal with it." I thought that would be it for the day. I had made it obvious where I stood, and I didn't feel bad about it one bit. But then Eric had to throw his 2 cents in. His text came in late that night, and as soon as I saw his name on my phone, I knew it was gonna be annoying. And it was. Pure entitlement. Eric texted, "Dude, why are you being such a drama queen? It's not a big deal. Just help them out like you always do." I almost laughed. Not a big deal? He was acting like I had no right to be angry about this. I typed back, "Nah, I think you've got it covered, since you're the favorite and all." Eric texted, "Oh my gosh, are you seriously mad about the will? Grow up, man. It's just money." Oh, now it was just money. Now that he was gonna get it all, it didn't matter? That was ridiculous. I shot back, "Then you won't mind using some of that money to pay for the mortgage, right?" Crickets. A few minutes later, my mom texted me again, going full guilt trip. Mom texted, "Jake, we're your parents. Family takes care of each other. We did so much for you growing up, and now you're just leaving us?" I had to take a deep breath to keep myself from chucking my phone across the room. Leaving them? I had spent years making sure they were comfortable, while they spoiled Eric and rewarded his being lazy. And now that they had to face the music, I was the bad guy. I wasn't falling for it. Not this time. I answered, "You made it clear I wasn't part of the family when you left me out of the will. Now Eric can take care of you." I could just see my mom acting all dramatic. She was good at playing the victim, even when she was in the wrong. A few minutes later, my dad sent another text, and this one really got under my skin. Dad texted, "We're not asking for much. Just enough to cover the mortgage for a few more months until we figure things out. Don't be selfish." Selfish. That word really hit a nerve. I had been helping them out for years, giving up my own money, time, and energy to make their lives easier. I had done everything a good son should do, and how did they pay me back? by making sure I got nothing. And now, when I was finally standing up for myself, I was the selfish one. I clenched my jaw, took a deep breath, and texted back, "No, I'm done." Then I turned off my phone. They made their bed. Now they could sleep in it. The quiet lasted a day. I knew they wouldn't give up that easy, but I wasn't expecting what happened next. The next morning, I woke up and saw a notification on my phone. A bank transfer request. I frowned and unlocked my phone to check. It was from my mom. She had actually sent me a request for money, like I was some vending machine. And the amount? $3,500. I stared at it, almost laughing at how bold they were. No message. No "Hey, how's it going?" Just a cold, shameless demand for the exact amount they needed to pay their mortgage. They weren't even asking nice anymore. They just figured I'd give in. I hit decline without even thinking. Not even 5 minutes later, my phone rang. It was Mom. I let it ring. Then another text. Mom texted, "Jake, I know you saw the request. Why did you decline it?" I took my time before answering. Because it's not my problem anymore. Try Eric. Another call. Declined. Then another text. Mom texted, "We're going to lose the house if you don't help us." Oh, now it was a crisis. After treating me like their personal piggy bank for years, now they were finally getting a taste of reality? I texted back, "Maybe you should have thought about that before you decided I wasn't worth anything." A few seconds later, Dad texted too. Dad texted, "You're really going to let your parents end up on the street?" Wow, that one actually made me laugh. The guilt trip was so obvious, it was almost funny. They weren't broke. They weren't about to be homeless. They just didn't want to touch their own money, because they were so used to me paying for everything. I ignored them all day. That night, I got a text from Eric. "Dude, just send them the money already. You're making this into a big thing." I clenched my jaw. This entitled little twerp really thought he could tell me what to do. I answered, "You mean the same money you're gonna get from the will? Why don't you send it?" He texted back fast. Eric texted, "You know I don't have that kind of cash right now." Oh, now it was about not having the money. He was fine with me going broke, but the second it was his turn to cough up the dough, suddenly he was broke. I texted back, "Guess you better figure it out then, bro. You're the one they chose." No answer. I went to bed feeling surprisingly calm, like I had finally broken free from their games. But the next day, things got crazy. I was at work when I got a call from my apartment's front desk. "Hey, Jake. Your parents are here?" I almost dropped my phone. "What?" She hesitated before adding, "They're saying it's an emergency, and you won't pick up their calls." Oh, my gosh. They showed up at my apartment just because I stopped paying their bills? I took a deep breath and rubbed my forehead. Please don't let them up. I'm not expecting them." There was a beat of awkward silence. They're being kinda pushy." I clenched my jaw. "I don't care. They can leave." I hung up and instantly got a text from Mom. "We're downstairs. Open the door." No please. No sorry. Just another demand? I didn't answer. Another text from Mom. "Jake, we're not leaving until you talk to us." I let out a frustrated breath and stood up. They weren't gonna give up. Fine. I was about to give them a lesson they wouldn't forget. I grabbed my keys and stormed downstairs fuming. I wasn't scared. I was mad. The nerve of them, showing up at my place, uninvited, and asking for money like I was their own personal ATM. Not even a phone call first. Not even a "Sorry for everything." Just a full-on sneak attack. They really thought they could corner me into saying yes, like I was some kid. I yanked the door open, and there they were, Mom, Dad, and, of course, Eric, standing in a tight little group like they were about to do some kind of family intervention. Mom had her arms crossed, her disappointed mother looked ready to go. Dad stood stiffly with his hands in his pockets, with a look that showed both frustration and entitlement, like he couldn't believe I was making him do this in person. And Eric? The little user actually looked bored, like this whole thing was a pain for him, like he wasn't the reason this was even happening. As soon as Mom saw me, she acted sad. "Jake, finally, we need to talk." I leaned against the doorframe, with my arms crossed. "No, you need to leave." She blinked, like she couldn't get what I had just said. "Excuse me? You heard me." My voice was calm, but serious. "You don't get to show up at my place and demand money." "That's crazy," Dad huffed loudly. "Are you really going to let us lose the house over a stupid fight?" I let out a short laugh. "Stupid fight? You mean the one where you decided I was good enough to pay the bills, but not good enough to be in the will? That fight?" Mom gasped and clutched her chest like I had punched her. "Jake, that's not fair. We only did what we thought was best for the family." I tilted my head. "Best for the family? You mean best for Eric. Just say it." Silence. A long, awkward silence. Eric, who had been quiet until now, finally said something. "Look, man, I don't even want to be part of this. I didn't ask for any of this." I turned to him and let loose. "No. You just sit back and take everything. You're 28 years old, Eric. Get a dang job." His face turned red. "Dude, what the heck?" I took a step closer. "You heard me. You want to get the house? Then act like an owner. You want to be the favorite son? Then start paying their bills. I'm done being your personal bank." Eric looked away, suddenly interested in the ground. Mom took a deep breath and got ready to use guilt. "And that's the end, right? I'm ready for any tweaks you might need, or if you want to continue the story." "Jake, he's your brother." Mom went for a final shot. I nodded. "Yep. And I've been helping him more than you ever have." Dad's face went dark. "You're being selfish." I laughed. A real laugh. "Oh, that's rich, coming from you." I pointed between them. "You two decided Eric deserved everything, and I deserved nothing. And now that it's time to pay the price, you're trying to trick me into fixing it. Not gonna happen." Mom's voice got cold. "We thought you'd be a good person in this." I raised an eyebrow. "A good person? You mean be quiet while I was taken advantage of and keep paying your bills? Because, let's be real, that's what you wanted." Dad stepped forward and tried to look down on me like he used to when I was little. "Jake, we raised you. We fed you, clothed you, and gave you everything. The least you can do is help us now." I looked him right in the eye. "I already did. 4 years. And you paid me back by cutting me out." Mom's lip shook. "We thought you'd understand." I let out a breath and shook my head. "Oh, I understand perfectly. I understand that I was never family to you, just a paycheck." Silence again. A horrible, awkward silence. I turned to Eric, who was still trying to disappear. "And you? What's your deal? You had years to grow up, get your life going, and help. But you didn't, because you knew they'd take care of you. And when they can't, you thought I'd step in, huh?" Eric finally said something. "What do you want me to say, man? I didn't ask for this." I nodded slowly. "Right. You didn't ask. You just took it." He opened his mouth, then closed it. He didn't have anything. Mom tried one last guilt trip. "Jake, we're family. Family takes care of each other. I stared at her for a long time before answering. Exactly. So why didn't you take care of me? She froze. She had no answer. I let out a breath and felt lighter than I had in years. We're done here. I turned and went back inside, closing the door behind me. Before I even made it to my couch, my phone buzzed. A text from Dad. Wow. After everything we've done for you, you're really going to leave us? I smiled and texted back. No. You abandoned me. I'm just now getting it. I sent it. Then I blocked their numbers. But I had no idea that blocking them was going to make things even worse. It wasn't long before things got bad. In less than a day, I started seeing posts on Facebook. My parents weren't tech experts, but they knew how to whine online, especially when they thought they were right. At first, I thought it was just my parents acting dramatic. I mean, that's what they did. They let out family secrets for everyone to see. But the longer I looked at their pages, the more I realized this wasn't just about me not paying their bills anymore. The posts looked like loving messages, but they were shots at me. Mom wrote about how she didn't bring me up to be. My son was raised to be so selfish, and we want to show that true family helps each other through hard times, no matter what. A few of her friends commented on her post which said things like that I was a disappointment and had lost my touch with family. Then, Dad had to go and post his thing. A so-called son shouldn't ever turn his back when you need them the most. We have given everything to our son, and this is how he respects us. Then he tagged me in that post and then he added, I hope you're happy. But the post that hit me hard was the one that Eric made. Some people think that money is what a family should be about. They are wrong. A family is about love and sacrifice, and that is the most important thing. I will do anything to make my parents happy, but there are some selfish sons out there who don't have the knowledge to help who raised them. I love my parents, and I'm grateful for what they have done. I sat and stared at the post, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Had it came to a point where they thought it was fair to turn me to the bad guy. I wasn't willing to support their sacrifices. I was the one who never complained. I worked hard. But somehow they turned it around that I was wrong. I started to write out what was going to happen, so I stepped back a little to give myself some time. But it was time I made a change. So, I pulled out my phone and I started typing. I opened my own Facebook account and wrote out a long post. I didn't want to start any game and was going to tell everyone the truth so they all knew what was going on. Here's what I wrote. Hey to whoever is reading my post. I know I've been quiet for the past couple of days, but it has gotten to a point where I had to set the record straight. My family has been saying a lot of things about me, and it's not true at all. They are portraying me to be selfish, and it has just gone too far. I've always helped my family. Ever since I could get a job, I had been the one who helped with the bills, groceries, and supporting them. I've looked at my parents do more for Eric, everything to him. I was meant to just keep giving even though I wasn't at all equal. I know for a fact some of you might see this and think what I am doing is just how family is supposed to be, but here is the truth. Family is two ways. When I found out what was happening to me and my parents, I found out where I would live. It was one side. They did not even think of me. It seems like there were not consequences. I'm going to count on these folks when bad things happen, and I am never going to talk to them when I see them again. They want something from me which is bad. I'm not funding them because I'm human and have needs and I get nothing. But what about Eric? I have to say about this, and I am talking. I can make him pay when I give what all is made. This is not me turning on my family. I wish you well, but I am done being used. You need to know respect. I'm going to start all over again and make it the best I can with what little I have. Hit post, and I felt I got my life back. I started to make things how I saw things and not think what all things did. I had no guilt. I took all and said I needed, and got to know more, and be whatever. I did not have those in years. Now you get things that you're sorry, and what you have all been through. So glad that I got all the truth out. Then the bad thing came, and hurt me so bad, I felt I was dead. Eric sent me. You had to hear all of this like that. You have no respect for family. And Dad called yelling into the phone. You've ruined everything. You'll regret everything. I hope it turns out well. And I am not going to let you win. I have blocked you all and I feel great. You will not talk to me again because I am done. I feel for the first time I have some freedom. I am not who you are talking to, so I have got what I need. I am bad for what all I said. I just need to fix all that came my way. And I am who I will be. And I am with those who want to be with me, and that what I need. It's not you with who I want to be, and that all I feel. And to you all, please put your feeling for me in the comments. And that is all.